Pokémon is a franchise with a rich and long-standing history, the first game releasing in Japan in early 1996 and the show the following year. It's been a massive part of my life, and I'm sure many of yours as well. I've played pretty much all the games. I've played a good amount of the games, my first being Pokémon Red on my original Game Boy. Yes, I am old. But with any long-standing franchise, the longer it lasts, the harder it becomes to create new and interesting content. Pokemon is no stranger to this. We've had some super cool and unique designs for Pokemon, but with over 900 in the decks, it's expected that some are gonna be trash. Like, literally, he's just trash and evolves into bigger trash. However, while we get these new Pokemon each game, one thing remains the same: the game. Even though Pokemon Red came out over 25 years ago, the core gameplay hasn't really changed. You catch Pokemon, beat gyms, beat some evil organization, beat the Elite Four, win game. And while there has been some slight variations on some of the newer titles due to better technology and graphics, it's not much different from the old ones. You can tell people want to change. I mean, why else would things like randomizers and Nuzlocke be so popular? People are literally so bored with the normal game that they have to create ways to make it more interesting because Game Freak hasn't implemented them. That was, at least, until Arceus. We do get the occasional one-off title like Pokemon Snap or Mystery Dungeon, but those feel more novel and less like a true Pokemon experience. So as soon as I saw the trailer for Arceus, I knew I had to get that game. It had the appeal of a traditional Pokemon game, but with completely overhauled gameplay mechanics. So I quickly booted up my Switch, created my character from a plethora of options, named myself Yevgeny, and started off on my journey. Yeah, it turns out this game's really fucking good. However, it's not perfect, so let's get the obvious out of the way first. The graphics leave much to be desired.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
It's like they took the Breath of the Wild engine, ran the code through Google Translate, and this was the result. They were really going for that created in Microsoft Paint aesthetic. I've literally done smoother lines of Coke, because they're usually pretty bumpy. I don't do drugs. The backgrounds are pretty bland and kind of just look like a JPEG was pasted on there. The environments themselves aren't that bad, but the inconsistent frame rate can make it pretty hard to appreciate. Character animations consist of neutral, shitting your pants, and Pog. And I have to mention the professor. For the longest time, it wasn't actually until like a couple of days ago, I thought that this was part of his hat, but turns out they just gave the man the worst facial hair in existence. And that's saying something when there's a guy with a celery mustache. So yeah, graphics could be better, but that's not the only thing that people are upset about. One of the greatest things about Pokemon games is the entire battling mechanic. You make your ultimate team to take on trainers and friends. In Arceus, you don't have many trainer battles, so being able to link up and battle our friends is super nice to have. If it was in the game.
Well now, let's just see if there's anything missing.
At this point, there's no way to challenge your friends or other players to an online battle. Perhaps this will be changed in the future, but for now I understand the public's outcry. The only other thing that I wasn't a fan of in the game was the lady at the training area. You can just roll up to her and she'll teach your Pokemon moves, and not just like quick attack and tackle. I pulled up with a level 10 Shinx or something and bought Ice Fang and it just learned it. And if that's not bad enough, she can just instantly master those moves for your Pokemon. Purchasing moves just eliminates the strategy that Pokemon had before, where you'd have to curate your team for each situation, often having to switch up your party depending on who you are fighting next. In Arceus, you can have one Pokemon that knows a different type move for each slot, and when you get bored of that move, just buy a new one and add it. So hearing those criticisms, you're probably wondering how I can still call this the best Pokemon game. And while yes, those issues may seem like a lot, and maybe even a reason to not play the game, you'll have to believe me when I say that the positives overwhelmingly outweigh the negatives. Let's first talk about the entire concept of Arceus. It's completely different from a normal Pokemon game. First off, this game plays more like an action-adventure game rather than just a normal RPG. I'll make the obvious comparison, but consider Breath of the Wild, but Pokemon. And rather than starting the game with the goal of beating gyms in the Elite Four, we actually work as a Pokemon researcher. This was a fresh take that still delivered the gotta catch 'em all mantra. So instead of progressing from town to town to fight the gym leader, we instead complete missions. That's right, we have fucking quests in Pokemon. There's a main storyline and a ton of side quests that can be completed by talking to people throughout the world. These quests, specifically the side quests, are actually really fucking good. There's the occasional monotonous one, but most of them feel pretty fleshed out. catch some Bidoof that have been running amok in the city, showing people completed Pokedex entries, and hell, there's even one where you get a freaking shiny Ponyta. And completing these side quests are great because you can gain access to more items from the city's vendors or materials that will just help you on your journey. So what exactly happens differently on that journey in Arceus? Well, get your popcorn ready, because we got a lot. First off, the concept of catching Pokemon is completely different. Every single Pokemon we encounter is in the overworld, a concept that was introduced in Pokemon Sword and Shield. In Sword and Shield, though, the overworld was meant specifically for stronger Pokemon, and we would still need to traverse through grass for wild encounters. And even when we fight a Pokemon from the overworld, we still have to go through the normal battle sequence. Arceus took the overworld concept and made the process of catching Pokemon one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. I think I speak for most people when I say that I just want to throw some balls. In every game, the process of throwing a Pokeball is automated. They did experiment a bit in Pokemon Go, but it wasn't until Arceus that we got complete freedom. Now, we can just run around and throw Pokeballs at any Pokemon we see. We approach said Pokemon, take aim, throw the ball, and catch it. Sometimes. If it was as easy as that, it'd be pretty bland, but the whole catching process is very in-depth and well done. You can just run up and throw a Pokeball normally, but you can also hit a Pokemon in the back for increased catch odds or sneak up on a skittish Pokemon before throwing it so it doesn't flee. The type of ball can have different properties and will be more effective in certain situations, but it's not always confirmed that you'll catch a Pokemon without conflict. If a Pokemon breaks free, it'll usually either run away or get absolutely pissed. Trying to catch it again will result in you just fucking doming it, which is kind of both hilarious and upsetting. Angry Pokemon is something that is completely new to Arceus. Yes, attempting to catch a Pokemon can make it aggressive, but some mons are just naturally pissed. And what do you think they will do? They try to murder you. This was one thing that I was always sort of confused about in Pokemon. You're telling me this 10-year-old kid is just gonna waltz on up to a big-ass Pokemon like Ursaring or Hippowdon and it's just gonna wait for you to start a battle? No, of course not. You entered their swamp and it's going to promptly attempt to exterminate you. So when out and about in the wild, you have to try to avoid these aggressive Pokemon, and you can do so by dodge rolling away to get from attacks, or position yourself to throw one of your own Pokemon and fight. If you do battle, you'll still be able to catch that Pokemon, and that's where we have the traditional mechanic from previous games. You can set food out to attract a Pokemon, or throw a Scatterbang to scare it away. You've run out of Pokeballs and there's no market in sight? Don't worry, because now we can craft more while out and about if you have the correct materials. I had always considered the process of catching Pokemon a bit tedious at times, but now I actually look forward to it. As soon as you catch a Pokemon, you'll notice that that's not the only change. The Pokédex itself is completely different. The Pokédex has always been like a secondary objective in Pokemon. Catch every single Mon, have it reported in your dex, and it's basically the ultimate gamer maneuver. Normally you just catch a Pokemon or evolve it and its data is entered into the dex. Because we are field researchers in Arceus, there are actual tasks that are needed to complete an entry. Each Pokemon has their own unique set of tasks, from things like number caught, number defeated, number caught without being spotted, number defeated with a super effective move, and many others. Completing these tasks will raise the research level, and once that level hits 10, the dex entry is recorded. Instead of just one and doneing most of the Pokemon, we're required to spend more time and research them. You know, because we're researchers.
I've got a peer-reviewed study right here that says you're a pussy.
And completing the dex is super important, as it allows you to increase your rank within the research team, which will allow you to craft better Pokeballs and gain the trust of higher level Pokemon. There's also one more use for the Pokedex. If you've played any of the games in the past, you might be familiar with the Pokemon Unknown. They are shaped like letters of the alphabet and are considered a bit of an anomaly. Well, Unknown has returned in Arceus, and we have to decipher codes to find their location. The codes themselves aren't anything special, it's just using the Unknown shapes to spell out words that will describe that location. Not the most difficult to decipher, but finding the different locations and collecting them all is like another minigame in itself. I mentioned battles briefly earlier, but wouldn't you fucking know it, those have changed too. We can swap our Pokemon on the fly right before a battle to choose which one we want to send out. Also, sneaking up on a Pokemon and throwing your own at their back will sometimes catch them off guard and allow you to attack multiple times. Getting the advantage in this game is, I'd say, pretty essential, because most Pokemon seem to just have fucking 200 IQ and just one-shot your team if given the chance.
Fuck you, you little dipshit!
Dipshit? Did you call moi a dipshit?
God!
There are some things you can do to avoid that though. Arceus has introduced Move Mastery. There are currently 2 ways to master moves. level up your Pokemon with that move equipped, or use a Seed of Mastery at the training grounds. The second way is big lame-o, so don't do that. You'll know a move is mastered when there is a scroll icon that appears next to it. Mastering allows you to use strong and agile versions of the move, which can be the make or break in a battle. Agile raises the user's action speed, which may make your next turn come sooner, but does less damage. Strong style is slower, but will do much more damage, so you can try to take down a Pokemon in one hit. These moves cost extra PP, so you'll want to use them strategically, but it's just a fun addition nonetheless. I almost laughed at PP there. Another thing I noticed is that when battling trainers, the prompt, "Trainer is about to use blank Pokemon, do you want to switch out?" is removed because, let's be honest, would a trainer really just be like, "I'm going to use a Squirtle, would you like to counter me immediately by switching to an electric type?" And oftentimes, if the Pokemon they switch to is faster, your opponent will get to attack you before you even have the time to switch to another mon, which adds another level of intensity. I'll say EXP share is pretty busted, so if you're someone like me who isn't a big fan of the long grind, then battling should be more enjoyable for you. Now let's say you're still kind of bored with the normal process of battling. You're looking for something more, something bigger. Well, how about motherfucking Pokemon boss battle? That's right, Pokemon Arceus is actually Dark Souls 4. In the game, there are warden Pokemon that look over an arena. A lot of these Pokemon are becoming hyper aggressive and sent into a frenzy. Our job is to quell these Pokemon, and what better way to do so than with a good old boss fight. We'll have to run around dodging the Pokemons with iframe rolls while throwing bombs to deplete the health bar. After a while, the Pokemon will become tired, and that's when we capitalize. We send out our own Pokemon to fight, and after taking some of its health down, we can start to lay down the damage with the bombs. At the end, we are able to calm the Pokemon down and restore peace to the area. This is honestly the most fun part of the game. You have to be aware of your surroundings, time your dodges, and decide when to attack or be on the defensive. Each Pokemon will have different moves, so the fights feel unique. Maybe it's just because I'm a simp for games with boss fights like Souls and Breath of the Wild, but this is the most interactive a Pokemon game has been ever. The only issue I will say with these is the level of difficulty. They're honestly pretty easy, but if I had to pick a hardest part, it's when you send out your Pokemon to fight when the boss is tired. Thing is though, you don't have to do that. Battling can just be completely avoided, so honestly just spamming bombs the entire time not only makes the fight easier, but it's also faster. The last main thing I'll discuss is travel. In the previous games, you've had access to abilities like Rock Smash, Cut, Fly, and Surf to get past blocked areas or go to faraway places. These are all just prompts though, and besides Surf, we aren't controlling any of the movement, and even then, it's just riding on a black circle. And while there is a fast travel option in Arceus, we also have a plethora of Pokemon at our disposal to get to areas that we normally would not reach on foot. Ride Wordeer to move fast and jump small gaps, Basculegion to travel across the water with ease, Braviary to take to the skies, Sneasler to scale large walls, or Ursaluna if you're looking for some buried treasure. Bruh, ever since Ash grabbed a ride with Lugia in Pokemon the Movie 2000, I've dreamed of being able to ride a Pokemon, and Arceus has made that dream come true. Granted, it would be cool if you could pick any of your Pokemon to ride, but I understand the modeling for every Pokemon would be pretty time consuming. And everything I've said so far are just the biggest changes, but we're still only scratching the surface of new content. We have mini games, alpha Pokemon, rifts, outbreaks, and so much more. Pokemon Legends Arceus is the change of pace that the stagnant series needed. I don't think I've ever been this excited or engaged while playing a Pokemon game, and that's saying a lot because I love the series. If the graphics weren't shit, then this would be an easy 10 out of 10 game for me. Let me know what you think about the game currently, the things you like and the things you don't. I'd love to have a conversation in the comments. We've got a ton of games releasing, so hopefully that means a ton of content for you all to watch. And if you're looking to support me any further, you can check out my Patreon, which is linked in the description, or maybe you're in the market for a new gaming PC, you can go and head over to Apex Gaming PCs, where I have my very own line of custom PCs that you can purchase. They've got the best parts, and honestly, pre-built is going to be the only way you're going to get those parts, so definitely check them out. They're a great company, great customer service. You won't be disappointed. And if you find something you like, you can use code Tony for 5% off there. Link will also be in the description. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next time.